Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live, the first of 5 straight NoDQ lives here on NoDQ.com. WrestleMania weekend is officially underway. We had the 2018 Hall of Fame ceremony, which went about 5.5 hours. A very long show. A lot to talk about, and I do thank you guys for watching live. I know for people on the East Coast, it is extremely late. It's going to be a long couple of days here. Thank you for tuning in live, whether you're watching live or watching on demand. I appreciate it. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you enjoy the Hall of Fame ceremony? What was your favorite speech? What was your least favorite speech? Do you think it was too long? I think it was a bit too long in my opinion, but it's good for the talent to be able to have their time. You know, for a lot of them, it's their last opportunity to be in the spotlight and have their moment to reflect on their careers. So I like the fact that they're allowed to go out there and they're not told to cut it short. Several years ago, I think it was 2010, WWE was cutting the speeches really short, and I think it took away from the ceremony. Let's talk about each segment. Let's start off with the Dudley Boys being inducted. Edge and Christian came out. They were hilarious. Edge and Christian were very funny. They were joking around about Christian not being in the Hall of Fame yet. Poor Christian. Did you guys see that photo? I retweeted it. Christian posing with the Dudleys and Edge. Edge, of course, has his Hall of Fame ring. The Dudleys have their Hall of Fame rings. Poor Christian doesn't have a Hall of Fame ring yet. But this was really entertaining stuff. I thought Edge and Christian did a great job with their speech. You can check out a full recap over at NoDQ.com. By the way, I'm just going through the bullet points here. There was a crowd shot of Magnus, a.k.a. Nick Aldis, NWA World's Champion. He was there with his wife, Mickie James, in the crowd. The Dudleys came out. They did a great job. I was very entertained by their speech. Devon was on fire. Devon had a lot of great lines. He brought up having a tan like Hulk Hogan. He brought up having the same hairstyle as Hulk Hogan. He brought up Mr. T's Mama speech from 2014, which was fantastic. Devon was just pure fire with his Hall of Fame speech. I loved it. This was one of the best Hall of Fame speeches ever in WWE, in my opinion. They went a long time. It was about 45 minutes, but they covered a lot of ground. They talked about ECW. They mentioned Tommy Dreamer. They mentioned Mae Young and how she helped get them over by being put through the table. I really liked the speech a lot. Dudley Boys definitely deserve to be in there. And of course, we got the big moment with Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, and the Hardys, the full TLC reunion. I thought that was a really nice touch to the segment. And then we had a little rib with the Dudleys being told to wrap it up and time was up. A stagehand came out. Of course, this was all part of the act. This was all part of the show. The Dudleys ended up putting the stagehand through a table. Cool stuff. I really enjoyed this. This was a hit. If you're going to watch anything from the Hall of Fame, actually there's a couple of big moments you should be watching. Dudley's speech, absolutely must watch. It was great. The Hall of Fame was not sold out, and I will talk about that here in a second. Money Man just left a $2 super chat donation. How's it going, Aaron? I'm doing good, just a bit tired here, but I have committed to 5 nights of NoDQ Live, and I am here to deliver on that. The show was not sold out. There were a lot of empty seats, and somebody took a photo during the show. A lot of the talent were leaving, which in other years I can understand when WrestleMania was the night after the Hall of Fame, but In this case, you know, for Saturday, you just have the NXT show. So I'm a little surprised that people were heading out early. Some might see it as a little bit disrespectful. But yeah, the crowd, as far as the attendance, it was definitely down from recent years. Virtue is here, and it's really late over there on the East Coast. Virtue is in New Orleans, by the way. Make sure you guys follow him, NoDQ_Virtue. He is there in New Orleans. Virtue, what did you do today? He says Hall of Fame needs to go back to the intimate theater settings with no fans and more journalists. Like you and me, Virtue? Ha 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 ha. Jeff Meacham might be calling in a few minutes here, guys, so stay tuned. I'll get Jeff's thoughts. It's almost 1 o'clock for some of you on the East Coast, so again, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, Dudley's hit a home run with their speech. One of my all-time favorite speeches. We even got a little Velvet Sky cameo during the speech. Again, check out NoDQ.com for the full recap of everything, all the noteworthy moments. Next up, we had Jimmy Hart doing the introduction speech for Hillbilly Jim. Not a whole lot to it. He showed an action figure of Hillbilly Jim. Jim came out, and this got on my nerves. No, don't go messing with the country boy. It was the generic song that is used on the WWE Network. I was bummed out about that. Hillbilly's speech was all right, but with all due respect to him, he wasn't exactly a major star. Yes, he had an action figure. He teamed up with Hulk Hogan, but I don't really think he had a Hall of Fame career. He talked about Legends House. I mean, that's one of his claims to fame is Legends House. So he did tend to ramble a bit, and the speech, I think, went on a lot longer than it needed to. It definitely dragged out. But again, you show respect to the talent. Let them have their time. Let them have their moment. I still think it should have been a little bit shorter. That's how I see it, at least. Not a whole lot to say about it. He did mention WrestleMania 3, of course, with King Kong Bundy and the Little People. And he thanked the fans. He did mention Stu Hart, did an impression of Stu Hart and talked about training in Calgary. But there was some rambling. He did mention Andre the Giant and told a drinking story about Andre. Next up, we had Molly Holly doing her speech for Ivory. I have to say, Molly Holly looks great. Ivory, too. And Ivory's, 14, 15 years older than Molly Holly? Ivory looked fantastic. With that being said, like Hillbilly Jim, she wasn't exactly a major star in WWE. Yes, she was part of Glow, and Glow has a Netflix series, but I don't know if that justifies her being in the Hall of Fame. She had a decent run in WWE. She was somewhat of a star. She was part of RTC. There was a moment where the RTC sirens went off during her speech, but it was a little bit awkward. She started talking about how she never got married, and she spent all this time talking about how going into the Hall of Fame was like getting married. It dragged on a bit. You could clearly see a shot where she was reading from a teleprompter. Wasn't the best Hall of Fame speech. Again, I'm not sure if she should have been going into the Hall of Fame, but you know, WWE wants to induct a woman into the Hall of Fame, and they do all this stuff for PC. But I think that there were better female candidates if you're going to induct a woman from the Attitude Era, like Chyna, of course. Josh Mansfield just left a $2 Super Chat donation. Loved how many of the inductees give thanks to God. Well, there you go. That's from Josh. And somebody's asking if he's being sarcastic. I'll let Josh answer that. Next up, we had Triple H doing the speech for Kid Rock. So it was not Stone Cold Steve Austin, as rumored. Triple H talked about how Kid Rock's music has been larger than life, much like WWE's music. Again, Kid Rock, should he be in the Hall of Fame? No, but it's PC, WWE getting the publicity, getting a celebrity to appear on their television show. And then this is when it got really over the top. Kid Rock came out. I mean, his speech was not boring. Kid Rock had a very entertaining speech, but definitely rustled some feathers on social media. Kid Rock came out and said that his Hall of Fame induction speech was better than winning any Grammy. Maybe that's true. I know a lot of people are down on the Grammys. A lot of people in the music business think it's a joke. But yeah, Kid Rock said it was better than winning a Grammy. So there you go. And then he had a really funny line. There's no politics involved here. That got me rolling on the floor. That was hilarious. That was a very funny line, Kid Rock. Nice job. He said he was told to not mention Vince McMahon by name, and this is something that has been said over the years, that Vince does not want to be acknowledged during the Hall of Fame ceremonies. But he did give Vince big thanks, and he said that Vince changed the entertainment business. He said that all the testosterone in the arena made him feel like body slamming some Democrats. And then, of course, once the people started booing, he said he was only joking. A lot of people on social media got upset about that. A funny reaction, though, was AJ Styles in particular. AJ was laughing his ass off when Kid Rock said that line about body slamming Democrats, although the Singh brothers, right behind AJ, were not amused in the slightest. The Beastmaster just left a $2 Super Chat donation. Jinder Mahal for the 2019 Hall of Fame. Hashtag JinderMania. There you go. He's endorsing Jinder Mahal for the Hall of Fame. That's soon. Don't you think he should have a lengthy career if you're such a big Jinder Mahal fan? Shouldn't it be like 2029? Base Dash Ketchum says, I did not know you were going live. I did announce it earlier today that I would go live with the Hall of Fame thoughts. It is WrestleMania weekend. I figured, you know what, it's all fresh in my memory. Let's go ahead and just do it right after the show. We have 215 people watching live, which is actually more than what we had on Wednesday when I did the SmackDown Live review video. So it's best to do the video right after the event. Seems to get a good turnout. It's better than doing it the next day. And here we go. In the chat room, we got people arguing about politics. So I'll just go ahead and calmly move on here and not keep talking about what Kid Rock said. He did talk about Joe C and how Joe C was a big WWE fan. That was a nice little moment. And that was that. Not a whole lot to say about it. Road Dogg came out and did a very brief introduction for Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett came out and did his old, that's Jeff intro. Jeff was really emotional. I did enjoy this speech. I mean, Jeff was clearly very happy to be there and glad to be back on a WWE broadcast. The crowd chanted, "You deserved it" at him. He praised Shawn Michaels, the 1995 In Your House match from, I believe it was July 2nd In Your House, I think. Jeff, you're the trivia guy. Let me know if I'm correct on that one. He brought up the Four Horsemen, the NWO, David Arquette, and then he got emotional when talking about Road Dogg and Owen Hart. And this was not the last time we would have an Owen Hart reference during this Hall of Fame ceremony. He told a story about him and Owen wearing clown noses during a tag team match against Edge and Christian. That was one of Owen's ribs. Edge and Christian came out and put a clown nose on Jarrett, and then Christian said, "It looks better on you, slap nuts." So yes, we did get a slap nuts reference on this show. Jarrett was there in the crowd, and Jeff thanked his father for being there despite their on and off relationship over the years. He read off a poem about not quitting, and then to top it off, to end the segment, Road Dogg came out to sing With My Baby Tonight with Jeff Jarrett. They had a duet. It was something out of, if you go to a karaoke bar. I mean, it was maybe if you go to a karaoke bar and there's a really lousy performance. I mean, this was it. But I was entertained by it. I know some people hated it, thought it was cringeworthy. I thought it was very entertaining, maybe just because it was so bad. They had the words on the big screen. What was embarrassing in a way was that the crowd really did not know the song, which made me sad. I mean, where were the big fans of With My Baby Tonight? If you're a fan of that era, that song was classic. I mean, Jeff Meacham and I would sing that song in the car. We love that song. Virtue says Jeff should have lip-synced as Road Dogg sang it. They tried to get different people in the crowd to sing it, but nobody knew the song. That depressed me. That's such a great song. With My Baby Tonight, it's a classic. But I was entertained by the segment. It was a bit of a train wreck, but I did enjoy it. The song was lame, sorry. You take that back. You retract that statement right now. The song is entertaining. I thought it was a fun moment, even if it was a bit of a train wreck. I liked it. So there. Jeff Meacham says there will be a duet shortly. I'm not sure what he's talking about. But anyways, let's move on here. By the way, there was no mentioning of TNA or Impact Wrestling. Nothing. Jarrett did not say anything about what he did over the past 15 years of his career. Nothing. No mention of TNA. During the red carpet segment, Samoa Joe, who by the way is back on WWE television, did mention that Jeff Jarrett was part of his career, but other than that, there was really no mentioning of Jeff Jarrett and TNA. Nothing. Braden says, Mark Henry made me weep and it was my favorite speech of all time. Well, before we get to that, before we get to Mark Henry, we had the Warrior Award, which was nice. I mean, again, it's done for PC, politically correct reasons. WWE's just trying to make themselves look good as an organization, but it's a nice gesture. Of course, there's the whole debate about the Warrior and his past, and the whole award, you know, the fact that Warrior himself wanted the Warrior Award to recognize people behind the scenes, and WWE turned it into something else. But that's a whole other debate and discussion. Dana came out, reflected on Warriors Hall of Fame ceremony speech from 2004 in the very same arena. Jarius Robertson came out and did his speech, and it was fun. You know, he was poking fun at John Cena, saying he would probably get a match at WrestleMania before Cena. It was nice. It was a cool moment. You know, I didn't have a problem with it. But, you know, the whole Warrior Award thing, I think is a little over the top and not really sincere. I mean, that's how I see it. I feel like the company's doing it to make themselves look good more than doing something nice. But, you know, Stephanie seemed to enjoy it. I'll let it slide, you know. Next, we had Mark Henry's induction speech, which some people think was the best moment of the show, the best speech. HGPL says, I agree on the award, Aaron. Hamp Kano says it was very scripted. Great Collie says Dana is awful. So a lot of people critical of it. Like I said, I'll let it slide. The kid was having a blast, and, you know, the kid's having a good time. I'll let it slide. Big Show introduced Mark Henry. Didn't say a whole lot, just said Mark Henry, they were like brothers from another mother. Mark Henry came out. The crowd did the sexual chocolate phrase. Henry's son was wearing the salmon jacket from the 2013 fake retirement. Mark was very emotional. I mean, one of the most emotional Hall of Fame speeches that I could recall. He got emotional talking about growing up watching Andre the Giant. He said that when he got the phone call about coming to WWE from Vince McMahon, he thought it was a joke because he felt somebody was pranking him, and he didn't think it was actually the real Vince McMahon. And of course it was. He managed to get hired nonetheless. He called himself a mark, not just literally, but figuratively as well. And then he talked about Owen Hart. And as you can imagine, it was very emotional. And this might have been the most emotional moment of the entire broadcast. He made a plea to Martha, Owen's widow, asking her to allow Owen to go into the Hall of Fame. And he had tears going down his eyes when he said this. And I'm getting a little emotional just talking about it. This was really powerful. And I hope Martha sees this. I don't think she was watching it live, but I hope that she does watch it. And I think we're all in agreement. Owen deserves the recognition, deserves going into the Hall of Fame. And this was as real as it gets. And this is definitely a speech you should watch. Mark Henry was great. Kayfabe Candy has said Brett has made pleas for Owen to be inducted too. So good luck. Well, I mean, like I said, really powerful stuff from Mark Henry. He said it wasn't the company putting him up to this or any other wrestlers. This was something him as a colleague and a friend of Owen Hart was making the request to Martha. Virtue says Martha will not budge. Unfortunately, it's something Vince can cash in on. And Owen may never go into the Hall of Fame, but the fact that he was mentioned more than once on this show, I mean, that's very telling. Anyways, Mark Henry also did a sexual chocolate routine. They had the music playing. He was doing sweet talk at Stephanie McMahon. He thanked Mae Young in China. I mentioned China earlier, another person who should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame. He then finished up by putting the salmon suit on, which was nice. People were hoping he would do it. He did, in fact, deliver. And then teased another match, but said that the jacket is his, quote, lying-ass jacket. So great speech. Mark Henry was awesome. Speaking from the heart, I loved it. His speech and the Dudley speech, Goldberg's speech too, were all really tremendous. Paul Heyman did the introduction speech for Goldberg, and I was a little disappointed with this. Heyman was mostly in character, and I thought he would say a little bit more about Goldberg, but he just said, he aspires to be half the father that Goldberg is to his son, and said that Lesnar needed an opponent who could beat him, and Reigns isn't that guy, so Goldberg came in. I mean, I was a little disappointed with Heyman's speech. I thought it could have been more powerful, and maybe those of you that were critical about Heyman being in that spot, maybe you were right. I just expected more. I expected Heyman to really sell Goldberg more than he did. Anyways, Goldberg came out. He had his big entrance, walking out from the dressing room. Very long speech, even though he said he was going to keep it short like most of his matches. He went on, he talked about growing up wanting to be a role model, and he broke into wrestling because he didn't have any money. DDP helped him out. He praised Bischoff for giving him his big break. And he said his 2003-2004 run sucked, and didn't want to talk about it. He said it was a difficult time for him leaving WWE. He tried to repress everything that had happened. He talked about the video game and being a family man as a motivation for him coming back. He said the training was miserable, but it was worth it in the end, to be able to come back and have a great run. He did tell a funny story, though, about how he broke his hand by punching a door since he was told to not headbutt the door. So instead of headbutting it, he punched it. And then he finished up by saying that being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame was a better payoff than the NFL Hall of Fame would have ever been. And that was the Hall of Fame. I did enjoy Goldberg's speech, but if I had to go with a speech of the night, it would probably be Mark Henry in terms of the serious tone of it. But as far as overall entertainment value, Dudley's had a tremendous speech. So that's it. Very long show, 5.5 hours. The highlights, Dudley's, Goldberg, and Mark Henry. Now, any other thoughts you guys have about the Hall of Fame? What were your favorite moments? Favorite speech, least favorite speech? I'll go ahead and read off some of the comments here. I think Jeff Meacham is going to call in and give his thoughts on the Hall of Fame. Maybe Virtue will too if he's still awake. I don't know if he's still around. Snipe Rider says Roman got buried tonight. Kayfabe Candy Ass says the 3 TLC teams on stage was cool. Aaron Anderson says Mark Henry was my favorite. Jason Bush says Hillbilly Jim was awful. All right, looks like we got Jeff. Wait a minute. Rift Aronson just left a $2 super chat donation. What's going on here? Which current stars could headline a future Hall of Fame, he asks. I'll ask this to Jeff. Jeff, are you there?
Hang on a second.
All right, well, somebody named Rift Aronson. Yeah, I'm here. Rift Aronson asked me which future stars could headline the Hall of Fame. I would say The Rock, or current stars, he says. Never mind. Rock's not really a current star anymore. Current stars, AJ Styles, of course, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose. But yeah, apparently Rift Aronson is back from the dead. He just left a $2 super chat donation. Jeff, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, your volume's a little low. Hopefully the people watching can hear you. Whoa, what was that?
I'm trying to move the phone around.
Technical difficulties in Meacham land here.
Hang on. Whoops.
Jeff is having technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, okay, is that better?
Say something?
Something?
I just hear noise and then hear you talking.
Hang on.
Snipe Rider says WWE superstars left during Mark Henry's speech, which I did address earlier. Jeff, you there?
Is that better, boss?
Yeah, that's good. So what did you think of the Hall of Fame?
About that. It's something. We do this every year, you and I. We talk about the Hall of Fame after it happens. We've been there with a couple of these ourselves over the years. I am in 100% in agreement with Virtue and in agreement with Kayfabe Candy Ass on their points. It's Virtue's point of having the Hall of Fame take place in an intimate setting, a theater, like the 2004 ceremony, the 2005, 6, and 7 ceremonies. I am full on an appreciation of that because I went to the 2005 ceremony with Hogan and Piper and Orndorff and everybody, and I loved it. I loved the intimacy of the Gibson, but before it was Harry Potter Land, obviously.
Yeah.
The 2008 ceremony, it was huge, and there were so many people that when The Rock went off on his 30-minute pre-induction promo, they wouldn't shut up.
Right. Yeah.
So there were just so many people there were so many people reflecting on the promos rather than the speeches. It was like, oh my goodness. So tonight we had how many people? 1,000 people in the Smoothie King Center, and the speeches were boring for the most part. And it was kind of hard to watch. I will say though, I enjoyed the Dudley's speech. That was entertaining, no question about it. I liked Jarrett's moment. I understand why he didn't mention TNA because it would have been a longer speech. Let's be honest. Mark Henry and Jeff Jarrett both mentioned, and I saw you get choked up. I got choked up when you got choked up, and I got choked up during the speech. I'm getting choked up now. Virtue made a point that Owen won't get in because of Martha. Was that Owen's daughter sitting with Natty and TJ?
Oh, I don't know.
There was a young lady that looked very much like Owen's daughter would look if she was that age now. That I think was sitting with Natty.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but the cat just made a cameo here on the video to try and boost the ratings up.
Yeah. It was hard to hear about Owen knowing that we may never get that moment with him and getting him inducted.
Yeah. By the way, we're up over 250 viewers.
Say it again?
We're above 250 live viewers, and you keep cutting out, so we're going to end up losing our viewers here, Jeff.
I'm sorry. I will go as quick as I can. I liked the mentions. I liked Goldberg's speech, but it kind of the theme of this show was the Dragon speeches. I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Hillbilly Jim's was all right, but I felt like it dragged a bit.
No,
Same
it wasn't.
thing with.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, you thought it was bad?
It was horrible. Sir, you hit the nail on the head earlier, and you said that he wasn't a big star. Why is somebody that didn't really have a huge impact getting that long to talk?
I mean, that's why I feel like, if you're going to induct somebody, you got to induct somebody who's had a really storied career, and there's a lot of big moments. I mean, with Hillbilly Jim, what big moments did he have other than he was Hogan's lackey for a couple of years, and he was in WrestleMania 3, but so were a lot of other people.
I think the biggest problem, and you and I have discussed this in private, and we've heard about it all over the internet wrestling community the last however many years Hall of Fame's been back and gotten grown and grown. There aren't so many big names left.
Yeah, because they've already inducted so many people. Plus, they did the Legacy Wing, where they inducted another 6, 7, 8 people.
It's like you go back and you watch the World Heavyweight Championship DVD that WWE put out about 10 years ago. The people that held the original World Championship, people like Stranger Lewis, people like Lou Thesz, people like Frank Gotch and Hackenschmidt and those guys, they deserve a legacy induction. I love Lord Alfred Hayes. He was one of my favorite people growing up and watching the WWF. But no. Okay? No. You know, they need to have less inductees on the main show, and they should have had less inductees in the legacy the last 3 years, too.
Yeah. Well, Virtue says that you're losing him.
Well, Virtue, you seem to be lost. I don't know what you're doing awake at midnight. You're going to bed. Get some sleep. Get a long day.
Yeah. And the other thing about Hillbilly Jim is that where was his song? That was, one of the best things about his act was his music, and they didn't even have him come out to it. That was very disappointing.
I find that very unusual that song is owned by WWE as far as I know. The Godwins even used it in the 90s. Why can't he use it on the
Great question.
Now?
I got to find out why that is the case. That is one of the big mysteries. Why does WWE not use that song? By the way, Rift Aronson, who's apparently alive, left a $2 Super Chat donation saying, what non-Hall of Famers could headline the future Hall of Fame?
Oh, God. It goes back to Owen in China, but again, Owen has the thing with his widow, and China will not get the headline because of her past.
Right, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about all the other things.
I agree. I disagree on that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
The main person left that hasn't been inducted to headline is The Undertaker, of course. And
right.
Rock.
Undertaker and Rock are definitely the two biggest. Batista also.
I don't know if they give Batista the headline, though.
Of course they would. Don't hate on Batista now.
I don't know.
Batista is a bona fide main event superstar, a major Hollywood superstar. Batista is a headliner. I know you're not a big fan of his.
It's not that I'm not a fan of Dave's, because I love the movies he's doing. I have a kid that loves Guardians of the Galaxy, so there you go. But I think had his star not paralleled John Cena, he'd have been a bigger star in WWE, I think.
He was a big star. He had that great match with
Triple H,
Hell in the Cell, Undertaker match at WrestleMania, Rey Mysterio, You're Supposed to Be My Friend. He had a lot of Hall of Fame worthy moments. He's a headliner.
I agree he's Hall of Fame worthy. Headliner is up for debate, and I'm sure we could do a NoDQ panel about it in the future.
I would say he's more worthy of the headliner than Goldberg.
Well, that I'll agree with, though, but because I like.
Yeah, exactly. You don't even like Goldberg, so that's not a good example.
I have a good reason I like Goldberg. You and I both know what that is, though. So.
Yeah. And any thoughts on Jeff Jarrett?
I am so happy that Jeff. It's funny. The theme for WrestleMania in New York, New Jersey last time they were there was I'm Coming Home. I think this year Jeff Jarrett came home.
Yeah, definitely.
Where he belonged. He belonged in the WWE Universe, and I think next year when they're going to be in New York, New Jersey, it'd be appropriate for Owen Hart to go in. He comes home at last.
Yeah, that would
20 years later, he comes home.
That would be cool. Anyways, any other thoughts you have?
I cannot wait for NXT tomorrow, and WrestleMania is going to be amazing. I know it's going to be a long day for all of us, especially those that are going to be inside the Superdome. God bless Caitlin, my buddy Christian, and of course Virtue's going to be there. You guys are soldiers, man. You guys are going to be treading along for 7 hours. Take some pee breaks, find the bathroom moments because you're going to need it.
Yes, definitely. Thank them for sending in tips and information about the show. Anyways, Jeff, thank you for calling in. People can follow you, send in their hate messages about Bautista at _ Jeff Meacham. And of course, we got the NoDQ sale on Pro Wrestling Tees, 20% off all the t-shirts. Pick up Jeff Meacham Talk Wrestling shirt, or pick up the
or short, pair of shorts. Well, let's get a pair of Jeff Wrestling shorts. What the hell?
NoDQ.com shorts. That'll be the next thing we have.
summer wear for the summer. There you go. It's coming up. It's pretty hot out here.
Yeah, I got the beanies, but now I got to start thinking about the summer. Anyways, Jeff, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, Virtue, if you are interested, call in. I'm curious to know how your day went in New Orleans and how your trip is going so far. So, Virtue, if you're still awake, if you're still watching this right now, call me on Skype. Let's get your thoughts. William Losh just sent in a $1.99 super chat donation. Beaver cleavage for the 2019 Hall of Fame headliner. Yeah, that was clearly a joke. Maybe we could have Mantar go into the Hall of Fame. All right, we got Virtue here. Virtue, are you there?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm just tired. I'm sure you're tired. So how is your day? How is your trip going so far?
Well, it's good. I'm here, and I'm going to be going to Ring of Honor tonight, watching NXT on the replay when we get back to the condo, and then, of course, Mania Sunday, Raw Monday, SmackDown Tuesday.
So what did you do today?
Oh, just sight the ocean. Went to a bunch of stores, ate, threw rocks into the Gulf of Mexico, that kind of stuff.
Did you do anything wrestling related today, or was today like your day for non-wrestling stuff?
I needed to rest from travel, so yeah, I did nothing wrestling today.
Interesting, because I know a lot of people are doing WrestleCon. I guess tonight was the Impact versus Lucha Underground show, and there was some other stuff.
Well, I'm not going to spend $40 to go in, and then every wrestler wants another $20 or $30 just to talk to them. So, I'll be going to Access tomorrow also.
Oh, have fun with that. I'm looking forward to your pictures.
Yep.
So what did you think of the Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame.
Yeah, what did you think of the Hall of Fame?
It was long, too long. I didn't hate any of it. I felt really bad for Hillbilly Jim because he just wanted that spotlight one more time. I know his spotlight was short-lived, but some of these guys, it reminds me of the movie The Wrestler. You
Definitely.
know, that's what Hillbilly Jim reminded me of tonight, and nobody knew who he was. I mean, you know what I mean. A lot of the fans there, younger fans, didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I get it. You know, these guys want to have that moment, that last moment, and I feel like let them go out there and say whatever they want to say. Don't cut them off. You know, back like in 2010, the guys were told to go out there and have like a 20-minute speech and no longer than that. So I like the fact that they're able to be given more time. But yeah, it does. It makes it more difficult to sit through the show, definitely. Oh, by the way, Ken Terminated by Google sent in a $2 super chat donation, and he's not being sarcastic. He says, "What about Steve Lombardi in the Hall of Fame? What do you think about that?"
Well, if you're going to put Hillbilly Jim in, you got to start looking, and Coco Beware, you're going to have to start looking at guys like the Brooklyn Brawler. Seriously.
Well, you know, if they were going to do the Warrior Award like the Ultimate Warrior originally intended it to be, then somebody like Steve Lombardi might make sense because he worked behind the scenes for a lot of years in WWE, and he would be a good candidate for that award if it was going to be what the Warrior had wanted it to be. So what do you think about that? If they were going to do the Warrior Award as Warrior intended it, would Brooklyn Brawler Steve Lombardi be a good choice?
Well, that's exactly what the Warrior wanted. That award should be for those people. They could still do a Connor's Cure type inductee every year too, on top of the Warrior Award. I mean, they do all those old timers we don't even see on the show, the Legendary Wing or whatever it's called. So, you know, and here's the thing, Aaron, and that's a Jeff Meacham quote. They need to build this Hall of Fame, or it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
it just doesn't. It's a TV show.
Right, exactly. And there's so many guys like Jim Johnston, for instance, and referees like Earl Hebner and Charles Robinson. Lots of guys, and I know some people don't like him, but Kevin Dunn, I think, should be recognized for everything he's done production-wise over the years.
Vince Russo. But, you know, going back to this year's Hall of Fame, you hit it. You were perfect with that. Dudley Boys, Mark Henry, and Jeff Jarrett, they stole the show. Goldberg, it was just his entrance to get to the podium. You know, blah, blah, blah. He was the headliner. But, you know, I'm just so indifferent with these WCW guys that didn't do too much in WWF. Now, I know he did have that run against Brock, but his 2003 and 4, that was forgettable.
Yeah, well, he even mentioned that himself, that it sucked. So yeah, long day. We got more stuff happening tomorrow. Maybe you could call in again, depending on how late things go. I'm curious to know how the Ring of Honor show goes, and yeah, keep me posted on stuff. Anything you would like to plug, by the way?
No, just follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. I will be doing some Periscope videos.
Sounds good, man. I did see the video of your condo. Really cool stuff. It looks really nice. How close is that to the arena?
About 30 minutes, but it's literally right next to the ocean, so.
Yeah, it looks really peaceful. It looks really peaceful from what I saw.
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually going to be up for another hour writing a column, but I will be in touch with everybody the rest of this weekend for sure.
All right, sounds good, guys. So make sure you follow Virtue, NoDQ_Virtue. He's covering all the various events. He'll be at Ring of Honor tonight now. Well, tonight for you, it's still Friday over here on the West Coast. But enjoy your trip, man, and have a good one. Thank you for calling in.
Will do. See ya. Bye.
All right, take it easy. All right, guys, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap up. I can't believe I've done 40 minutes just talking about the Hall of Fame. That is insane. Rick says if you put Kevin Dunn in, you'll need to get a wide camera angle for his big teeth. The thing about Kevin Dunn, people hate him, but the guy has done a lot production-wise for WWE over the years. I think he should get recognized. Screw the haters. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. ProWrestlingTees.com. Use the code MANIA to get 20% off NoDQ shirts. Rick, by the way, gets the Savage line of the night for the Kevin Dunn dig. ProWrestlingTees.com. If you want to support NoDQ.com, pick up a t-shirt, 20% off all weekend. Use the code MANIA. Thank you guys for tuning in. No more super chats. I am tired. It's past my bedtime. I got to get some sleep here. I'm going to go nuts for tomorrow. So no more super chats. I got to wrap this thing up. Kayfabe Candy Ass says, you all deserve Warrior Awards for staying awake. Brian says, feed the beaver. Man, you guys really don't like Kevin Dunn. I don't know. I don't think the guy's that bad, but people really rag on the guy. Whenever there's something going on with a character, how they're pushed, people blame it on Kevin Dunn. Oh no, here we go. Aaron Anderson just sent in a $1.99 super chat donation. Go to sleep, Aaron. Yes, I want to go to sleep, so no more super chats. I'm going to sign this video off now. I will be back tomorrow night. NXT WrestleMania. That's going to be the big one. 7+ hours, 14 matches. It's going to be a happening, no doubt about it. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. Like I said, full recap of the Hall of Fame, additional details that I did not mention over on NoDQ.com. That'll do it for this video. You guys have a great night. Rest up, and I will see you tomorrow for more.